how does it feel like thousands, hundreds and thousands of people like looking at you from the seats, from TV? Like, do you feel the freaking pressure from everyone, or does it just like disappear?
No, it's always there. Like I heard this from someone, and I totally agree. If there's a point where you don't feel the pressure, then there's like something wrong with you, because that's how great of an impact that all those factors play in. And I remember my first touch of that. It was against FAU. I
Mm.
got put in the second half, like start of the second half, and then I remember my first touch. It was palpak, dude. Um,
Why?
I
What
controlled
happened?
it, but I controlled it forward. Pero I felt parang kalaban behind me. So I got scared, so I brought it back. Pero I didn't know that he was there, so he got it from me. Buti na lang, I was able to get a recovery tackle in and get it out. But we had like a water break or something. And then I remember my coach going up to me saying, "Puta na, ayusin mo." And then he slapped me in the face, and I was like, "Okay, okay, fuck, okay." Like I have to fix
Whoa!
myself.
Wait, he
Yeah,
slapped you
he
on a
slapped me, and my
timeout.
friends on a timeout, and my parents were in the stands, and they asked me
Oh,
after they were like, "Is that normal?" I was like, "Honestly, I didn't feel the slap. Like, I didn't even feel the slap."
yeah. But was that normal? Or is that normal? Like, does he usually slap people? Or ikaw lang? Or did he reserve that for you?
I mean, I think, you know, it's I don't know. I really don't know. I didn't, like I said, I didn't feel it at the moment. Like it didn't really
Mm.
occur to me like it was a slap. It was just like that was like a wake up call for me to be like, hey, you're like he's giving you a chance. Take it, you know. And yeah. So there's a lot of pressure definitely as soon as the ball comes in or as soon as you're on that field, there's already a lot of pressure.
Small Business Spotlight is a portion of my podcast that I would dedicate to small business owners based here in the Philippines as a notion of my support for the small business community and all those aspiring and up and coming small business owners out there. For this episode, we are highlighting Baked Bites. So, Baked Bites is an online cookie seller based here in Metro Manila with cookies that I quote, fill the tummy and the heart, and are best shared with loved ones, whether together or apart. And a message from the founder, Patricia Poblete, and I quote once again, like a lot of people who started their small businesses this quarantine, my sister and I initially decided to put up our business so that we could be productive, stay sane, and earn money while doing something we both enjoy. I didn't expect to invest so much time and effort in this, but I'm glad I did, because running a small business is such a great learning experience. Aside from being able to provide something my friends, family, and even strangers can enjoy, my small business also gave me the opportunity to give back. I've held and joined fundraisers to reach out to those in need, and there's no better feeling than making use of what you have to do good. And that's it for today's Small Business Spotlight. Let's move on to the episode. All right, we're live. So welcome, Pao, to the Meaning of Life podcast.
Hello,
Welcome
hello.
here. Yeah, so can you give us like a brief description? Like, who are you, man, and what do you do?
It's so weird to answer that question, but hi guys. Paolo Fernandez. I'm 23 years old, currently a student in De La Salle University, taking up psychology and management, finishing my last year. Oh my God, it's my last year in college, and
Finally.
hopefully, finally, it's been a while. Hopefully, I can work now soon. Yeah, that I think that sums it up.
Yeah, what have you been doing lately? Like, what's been on your radar?
Well, so I've been busy with school, as is everyone. I had this side business. I was selling sausages here in the Alabang area. So anyone from the Alabang area want some sausages, hit me up. They're good. I swear, they're good. They taste really well. Maganda
That
yung
does
timpla.
not sound right, man. That does not sound right
No,
at all. Ano
it's
pangalan? Ano
Hungarian.
pangalan?
We are a distributor of Aguila sausages, so you can search them up on Facebook. They're locally made, so you support local. but European style, very good sausages. Apart from that,
My European
we have
sausages, yeah.
yeah, European sausage. We have like three three sales so far. It's kind of sad. Apart from that, I'm also currently waiting for business week, Unilever business week. I got in to that that program, which I'm very happy and proud. It's gonna happen next week, first week of August. So I'm excited and I can't wait for that. So I think I'm gonna learn a lot, but I'm also very scared. Because alam mo naman, Unilever, pabibo sila eh. Super,
Yeah.
super. Like all those guys are crazy smart, crazy galing. So
Can you take us on to how that happened, like being in Unilever Business Week?
it's crazy, you know, because parang I've always thought I always knew I wanted to work for a big corporation. Like that was always my next step after college. It was always a toss up with like P&G and Unilever because those were like you know like the biggest talaga out there.
Yeah.
Um, I was leaning towards more P&G at the one point, but when I read when I think it was BMS brought Unilever during I think I forgot what week. It was one of those weeks that we have in college, and then they had an activation booth, and then I just saw what they had to say, and I just got really interested and impressed. Then um I applied for like the email updates or whatever. So they emailed me that business week applications are open. I went for it because I was like, why not? I wasn't sure if I'd get in, honestly, because I don't know. I didn't feel like I had the right credentials for it. But as I progressed through the levels, because there are like 4 stages of interviews, tests, and everything. And as I progressed through the levels, I felt more and more confident that I could do this. Then when of course, like the lockdown hit, quarantine hit, so I
Yeah.
kind of got scared. I was like,
Bummer.
shucks. Yeah, exactly. Like, is this gonna push through or what's gonna happen? But one day I was on my bed just using my phone. Then I got the email that it was continuing and I got in. So that was a big highlight for me.
Solid,
I think
man.
yeah, I think one of the craziest moments was like the interviews because they have like 2 stages of interviews. They have an online stage and then a face-to-face one. The online
Mm.
is super intimidating. Um, Probably shouldn't reveal a lot, but
Yeah.
basta,
But you still did a face to face interview, even though.
so you
Okay.
do like
Okay.
a online, you do an online, and then if you
Mm.
pass that, then you proceed to the face-to-face, which is like the final step.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically.
You said you didn't think you had the right credentials. Why? Why? Why the hell would you think you don't have the right credentials? I mean, as
I
a
mean,
rampant org person throughout your entire college life.
I wouldn't. I mean, I definitely missed. Um, I missed my shot. I think when I didn't apply to be EV to kind of ramp up my experience and credentials. So I think I lacked in that department because I knew people who were applying to Business Week also, and they were like presidents of their orgs. They were like really smart or in engineering. I just always consider people from engineering really smart people. So I just didn't think I could or skill wise I didn't think I was on par. But Bebo wise, that's where I was like, okay, I'll
Yeah.
just out Bebo. You know,
That's the edge.
that's the edge. Yeah, I'll just try to talk my way through it.
Why? What's your tips on being the right amount of? Because there are a lot of Bibo people, right? But there's a proper way of doing Bibo. There's a boundary between being annoying Bibo, being oh my goodness, shut up man or chill lang man, to oh he's so proactive, he's so wonderful and he takes initiative. So what's your advice on like balancing that?
I think I think you just have to seem humble, but at the same
Seem
time
humble. Seem
you have to
humble. But
no
not
yeah
really. But not really.
that's the no you have to seem humble enough but as well like confident. So no, you when you talk, you have to know what you're saying, but at the same time, even though I maybe I'd say 80% of the stuff that I say is probably like at the top of my head and I just come up with it, right? But you have to have a bit of substance behind it naman. So people can be like, okay, he's making sense and he's not just babbling, to kind of give yourself some credit and people won't find it super annoying. That's what I think, you know. And of course, like you can't always be um, stamping your own or enforcing your own presence on everything because like then people will just be like, okay, what, like this guy is just too much, you know. You are bibo in your own way. That's what I always say. So you be good at what you're bibo at, and then people will take notice, and then you'll just strive from there, or you'll just yeah.
Wipeout, what do you think for your from your perspective, like your intuition? What do you think you're the best at? Like, what's your personal like? Okay, this is my playhouse. This is I got this. What can you say na you got this?
Um, I'd say probably like interacting with people. That's where I feel most comfortable at, and that's where I know, like, when you're good at something, you just like it just clicks, and like there's something
Yeah.
inside of you that just goes, okay, I know what to do. It's automatic, eh? Like you don't have to second guess yourself, you don't have to worry about other variables, you just do it and it's so natural. So I think with me it's really interacting with people and just being able to work with many different types of people, because I love working in teams because it's so energizing to me, because you get to meet all these different personalities, but at the same time you all have to work together to reach a certain goal or to achieve something, and that's always so energizing to me, because I find uh, that relating to be able to relate to these unique people, to be able to relate to all these different personalities. It's so fun and amazing to discover what you can find, the new perspectives that you can find from these people. So it's always a fun process for me, and I think that's where, when people say group work, my mind is just like, I like, let's do it. I'm so down.
I'm a freeload. I I'm a
Yeah, exactly.
got it.
I'm gonna I'm gonna make the group Google Docs, send it to the group chat, and
And
I'm
I'm done.
that's it. That's it.
Yun na
Hindi
yung
naman,
contribution.
I'll make the group chat and the
Ilalagay
Google Doc.
yung DLSU logo and
Oh
then
yeah, yeah,
after
yeah.
that,
Front
yun na.
page. After that, wala na. That's it. Kag.
Para I know
Parang,
uh
parang,
familiar.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You talk a lot about working with teams, right? And
Yeah,
you've worked with a lot of teams, like sa BMS pa lang alone, like you've been with
for sure.
MGT and then MGT ulit. Wala, you repeated.
our
And then
TND team. We had
yeah, our
that.
TND.
JO, yeah, yeah.
Our Sencoms.
Our
Woo! Our
Sencoms.
Sencoms.
Oof,
Wonderful,
our
wonderful
Sen.
Sencoms.
That's a different conversation in itself, I think.
That's a story. That's a
That's a
novel.
story. That is. That, how many chapters of your life is that? It's probably
uh
it's its own collection.
yeah, can you tell something about like like balancing it all, man? Like how did you cuz you were a member of a lot of teams. You were for at one point you were a project head, you were an AVP for an organization, BMS. You're a project head for an event. You're also part of the football team. And you're also a student. Let's not forget you're a student. So, how do you balance all of that?
Um, like I'm gonna be honest, I didn't. I don't
You
think I
did.
did. I don't think I did. I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm not
How
even
so?
gonna
How
be.
so?
Yeah, I remember that term. That was second term of my third year. That was crazy. But um, I was tired. I was burnt out. I'm not gonna lie. I was burnt out, but it was fun. How did I handle that? I
Yeah.
think I think I just tried to stay on top of everything. And what do I mean by that is I tried to not let everything pile up. So at least I tried every day to have a set task or tasks that I needed to accomplish, so that I wouldn't, my head wouldn't be above water or under
Your
the
head
water.
wouldn't
My
be
my
above
head
water.
would my head wouldn't be under the water
Yeah.
with all these requirements. So it worked. It worked definitely. That really helped save my grades and my deliverables for the different stuff that I had. But I think there's some stuff that I still needed to work on, especially like my follow through. Um, there are days where after training, I just feel like, oh my god, like do I have to do this or like do I have to go to class? Of course, I had to go to class, but um, yeah, I think just aside giving yourself those tasks on a daily basis helps kind of minimize or put yourself into bite-sized stuff that you can take in, and it won't be so overwhelming.
Yeah. So like taking it one step at a time basically, no.
Yeah,
Like
basically.
cutting this large goal or objective and then just segregating it to like okay, this first and then this first and then this first. Cool, cool. Can you take us to like ano? Not everyone gets to be a part of ano of uh UAAP team. How was that? How was that experience, man?
It's it's a very exhilarating. I think that's the one word that I can describe it. Use to describe it.
Exhilarating.
Exhilarating because so many factors play into it. You're playing for, of course, like your team, so there's that pride factor already. And can I just say when you wear that white and green in a game, whether it's whether it's against Ateneo, whether it's against UE, it doesn't matter. It's that pride factor that comes with it.
I'm nodding my
Um,
head like I know how it
like
feels.
like you know, I
Uh,
mean, like you played basketball for a team,
oh,
right?
yeah,
I
for myself,
for
for myself, not for my school, bro.
it's the same thing, I think.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
There's
Oh.
still some sense of pride in that, but then you factor in like the crowd, and that's a totally different psychological um, factor in itself because the crowd really does play a big factor into how the team plays, into how individuals play.
Mm.
Because I've seen players, and I'm even like talking about myself, where they have games where they just play for the crowd, and what that means is basically they only play to impress, to get the shouts, to get the cheers from people in the crowd. So it's not the crowd can be psychologically advantageous or disadvantageous. It depends on how you really take it in. I was scared. I'm not gonna lie. Like I didn't know what to expect coming into the experience. I've seen UAP games in football from the stands, and it's very fast. You
Mm.
don't actually realize how much time on the ball you have because once you receive it, there's already 2 3 guys on you, and you're just like you're like I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Nakakakaba. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't say that in Tagalog. Kinakabahan ako.
Yeah.
Kinakabahan. Yeah. Um, but it was a great experience. I'll never forget it because definitely that's a story I'd always say I'm always very proud of because I remember the summer before that year I worked really hard to get back into the groove of football. The year before that I didn't really play a lot of football. Then the summer I told myself, okay, this is my one goal for this year. Apart from like orgs and everything, but I really want to make it. I want to play. So I worked hard. I did extra work. Then um, the months leading up to UAP, it was a lot of ups and downs because I
Mm.
started out on the B team, playing with the B team. There's already a set first team, and I was like, that's fine. Like I don't mind as long as I'm getting a run in, as long as I can show the coaches like what I can do. And then there was a point where I was getting a run of good games, and then I just got my big break against. I remember it was against UP. We were playing UP. Then there's coach subbed me in. Then I guess he liked how I was playing, even though we lost that game. Then after that, I started the next game and the rest of the games of the season. Yeah.
Solid, man. What was like your ano? What was your inspiration or motivation more like to like pursue that? Because it requires a lot of work, yeah. It requires a lot of work. So what like made you say, "No, okay, this will be my goal. This will be my objective."
For me, it was always that dream of like my first year self to play and represent like LaSalle, because it's such an honor to represent our school. It's such an honor to just be able to um, give any kind of glory to LaSalle. So that was always something in the back of my head, even though like I had stopped for a year. And I think that just kept me going. And deeper down, motivation wise, I think I also knew in my head like this is a good maybe character building moment, because I'm not the best. Like I'm not gonna say that I'm like the best footballer out there. There's definitely a lot of people technically better than me, but I can definitely say like during that year I put a lot of effort, um, individual wise, and I really just tried my best to help the team in any way that I could, whether that was on the bench, whether um, I was starting, or whether I was just throwing water to the people, you know, any way I could. Really, that was my mindset behind it all. Like, and like I said a while ago, I gave myself bite-sized kind of like not really tasks, but how do you say it, achievement points throughout the year. So my
Mm-hmm.
first one was always to, okay, start playing scrimmages every practice. Like don't just like you have to start not even as like the first, because usually in training we have like scrimmages, so 11 versus 11, right? And
Yeah.
I just wanted to be a part of that, even though I'm not on the first team. Like as long as I'm on the B team, as long as I'm playing, that's okay. And then the next one was, okay, I have to start playing in friendly games, because we'll have friendly games against professional teams, against other universities. And then I was able to do that. Then after that, it just kept going. And I think that really helps motivate you and give yourself confidence, because once you start achieving these points that you've set for yourself, then you start to get into a groove. Then you start to say, okay, this is something that I can do, and it just helps motivate you more to achieve this bigger goal, which for my case was get get into the UAP lineup. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the feeling of like getting, you mentioned it earlier, like when the ball lands on your feet or nasa yun na yung bola on the field. It's how does it feel like thousands, hundreds and thousands of people like looking at you from the seats, from TV. Like do you feel the freaking pressure from everyone or does it just like disappear?
No, it's always there. Like I heard this from someone, and I totally agree. If there's a point where you don't feel the pressure, then there's like something wrong with you, because that's how great of an impact that all those factors play in. And I remember my first touch of that. It was against FAU. I
Mm.
got put in the second half, like start of the second half, and then I remember my first touch. It was palpak, dude. Um,
Oy,
I
what
controlled
happened?
it, but I controlled it forward. Pero I felt parang kalaban behind me. So I got scared, so I brought it back. Pero I didn't know that he was there, so he got it from me. Buti na lang, I was able to get a recovery tackle in and get it out. But we had like a water break or something. And then I remember my coach going up to me saying, "Puta na, ayusin mo." And then he slapped me in the face, and I was like, "Okay, okay, fuck, okay." Like I have to fix
Whoa,
myself.
wait, he
Yeah.
slapped you
He
on a
slapped me, and my
timeout.
friends on a timeout, and my parents were in the stands. And they asked me
Oh,
after they were like, "Is that normal?" I was like, "Honestly, I didn't feel the slap. Like, I didn't even feel the slap."
yeah. But was that normal? Or is that normal? Like, does he usually slap people? Or ikaw lang? Or did he reserve that for you?
I mean, I think, you know, it's. I don't know. I really don't know. I didn't, like I said, I didn't feel it at the moment. Like it didn't really
Mm.
occur to me like it was a slap. It was just like that was like a wake up call for me to be like, hey, you're like he's giving you a chance. Take it, you know, and yeah. So there's a lot of pressure definitely as soon as the ball comes in or as soon as you're on that field. There's already a lot of pressure.
Yeah, but still, no, like regardless of the pressure, you still showed up and you're still there. I mean,
I mean, you
I
have
can't
to.
speak for yeah, you have to.
You have to.
You wouldn't be in the team if you can't,
Exactly,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
You'd be like, why are you even there, man?
Yeah.
What?
That I think yeah. That's another thing like that goes on in your head. Like you don't wanna
Mm,
disappoint the people or the I think for me, like I didn't want to disappoint the people that put trust in me from the start, because there was this one
yeah.
one of the assistant coaches, like he was always helping me fix my positioning. He was always helping me with my just overall fix my defense, my defensive stance, my decision making on the field. And I didn't want to. I remember thinking like I don't want to disappoint him because he put a lot of trust in me, especially when he put me on in games. He'd be patient with me enough to like give me tips, and I have to shout out also to my captains at the time. They also trusted me enough to guide me and just say like, okay, like you're starting for a reason. You have to show it, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely resonates with me because one of my mottos in life, more or less like the things I want to remember, is that I always want to make the people who believe in me proud and prove the people who don't believe in me wrong. Kaya whenever I feel lazy, I remember the saying na laziness is disrespect to the people who believe in you, because I believe in that. Like if you're
Firmly,
lazy and you don't,
firmly.
yeah, and you're lazy and you don't do your work or do your job or do the things that people think you are capable of, then what do they believe in? Do they believe in this loser or this lazy ass punk guy not doing anything?
And I think that resonates with how you are as a person, because like I've worked. I mean, how many projects have we worked in together, right?
Mga one lang naman.
Mga one
Joke
lang.
lang.
But
Countless na
from
yata man.
from all those times, I can definitely see that in your personality. Like you don't wanna let down the people um, who've entrusted you, especially your copy heads for sure. Like you've saved my ass a lot of times. So
Eh,
that's
you saved my
hello.
ass a lot of times also. Mga literally din. On just moving my ass literally from one place to the other. So, using your pickup.
The
You should
pickup,
name your
yeah,
pickup,
yeah.
man. May pangalan ba
Uh,
yung pickup mo? Does it
I
have a
should name
name?
it, no?
You should name it. It's like
What's a
the
good
card.
name? That Bessie. Bessie looks like Bessie.
Bakit Bessie?
Si paring Bessie. I
Bakit,
don't know. It just
bakit
looks like
Bessie?
looks like a Bessie to me.
Paano
Ikaw
kaya kung
ba? What
ano?
is, oh.
Brendan.
Mm, pwede rin. Pwede rin. Pwede rin. Shout out.
May ano ka ba? May suggestion ko ba dyan?
Oh, I'll go with Bessie. Bessie seems
Be-
more of a character to me. Yeah.
oh, sige, sige. Can't wait to see Bessie. Bessie soon. Cutting to the ano, to the proverbial chase. Like, what for you? You've done a lot of things in your college life. I'd say you've done more than siguro mga 95% of the people, or 99% of the people I would consider have done. But for you, like you're working through life right now, college life, soon to be graduate, soon. What do you think of the phrase like meaning of life? What does it translate to you?
To me, like just meaning of life is how you want or how you want to live your life. Like it's such a loaded phrase because when you ask someone like what's the meaning of life or like what's your meaning in life, I always equate that to how do you want to live your life or um how do you want to continue the rest of your days here on earth um yeah as long as you can. And I think at the end of that and at the end of that phrase, at the end of that like sequence or discussion, it's just what's your meaning of happiness? Because like we all definitely don't want to live life in a sad state or
Yeah.
um, bad vibes, right? So I think when someone asks me what's your meaning in life, it's what makes you happy or what gives you the most joy, because that generally what gives me life. Eh? So I guess if I were to answer it, it'd be like family and just generally the people that I care about, seeing them happy, and seeing them proud of me as well.
What is happiness for you, man? Like, is it something? Is it someone? Is it like, what is it for you? If it is so important to like the meaning of life for you, like,
For me,
what is
yeah.
it?
I've had like a lot of discussions now with my dad. As in, sobrang dami throughout my college life because he's kind of like
Mm,
my confidant. He's kind of like my guide through life or whatever.
of
But
course.
throughout my discussions with him, I realized, happiness is a state, and it's not something that's stable. There's always gonna be fluctuations, especially in life, because you've heard the saying like life isn't fair. So you're never gonna be you're never going to be in a stable state of happiness. But what you can be is a stable state of being content and satisfied. And I think that in in the long run can help you be more happy with any situation, whether you're in a good situation, whether you're in a bad situation. Because if you learn how to be content, if you learn how to be satisfied, I think a lot of a lot of things that may burden a lot of people will you'll find that it doesn't really burden you as much. Yeah.
Are you content?
Right now, no.
Yeah.
I think no, not
Why?
yet.
Why?
Because I definitely still have stuff that I want to achieve. And I was thinking about this just the other day, like when I was defining to myself, like how will I know when I'm content, or like how will I know if I'm finally satisfied, right?
Mm,
And I just remember, like, as early as I could think, when I was a kid, people always told us to keep reaching your goals, keep pushing yourself, or to reach for the best things in life. But I can't remember a time where anyone ever told me stop and learn to be satisfied or content. Like as a kid, like I don't remember anyone telling me that, and I think that's an important duality to that, because
mm,
I totally agree. We need to keep achieving. We need to keep reaching stuff that we want to achieve, because like that's who we are as people. We're motivated to achieve, but at the same time, people forget to stop and look back and see what they've already achieved, and to just be thankful for that and to be content. So right now I'm in that stage where I'm climbing to
mm.
reach a certain goal. But once in a while, I think it's important for me especially, because it's in my personality to be very hard on myself. So I think once in a while, I take some time off the day or the week or whatever to just kind of look back and say, I think I've done a good job. I can do better, but you know, I can work on that in the coming years, in the coming weeks that I have. So I'm not to answer your question, I'm not content yet, but I think I'm a lot more content than I was a few years back. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
And how do you measure yung parang like what you said, the duality of it from being content, like okay, you should be content now because you got all these good things in life, but also not being content, so you're pushed to like achieve more and do more. Where does it go? Like how do you balance that, those two mentalities?
Deep questions. I'm not like I'm 23, man. I haven't lived my life, but
I'm 21. I'm 21.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, pero
Pero
yun nga. I mean,
yeah,
like for you, man.
for me, um, definitely it's gonna be a hard balance. I guess like how I can equate it, though this is a very shallow kind of analogy for it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like um it's like how people always upgrade their technology, I guess. You know how like every 2 years, every year, Apple, or the big hit players, Apple, Samsung, they always come out with something new, something fresh. And then there are people out there who always want to get the newest things, who always want to who always want to have that trendy new thing. And I think if I were to equate that to like achieving more and achieving greatness, that's when it's bad na, you're not when you're just achieving for achieving sake. Like there's no actual end goal in mind, or it doesn't help you to reach something greater than just achieving. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like if
it
you're
does.
if you're achieving just to say like, oh, I've done that, or like I've achieved that already, and it doesn't contribute to anything greater than than that, then I think then it's at the bad point of, achieving for greater things. I believe in this grand scheme of things. I believe in a plan that everyone kind of is not really tied to, but we're definitely made, or we're definitely here on this earth to follow a certain path, and I firmly believe that. And I think if your achieving does not lead you to that path, then it's kind of useless. Same goes for being satisfied. Like, if you're satisfied and you're not on that path, then why should you be satisfied, right? Like, there's no reason to be satisfied if you're not in a spot where you feel like you belong, or you feel like you should be there. And it all boils down to just being brutally honest with yourself. I think for me, that's something very hard to do, but it's very essential, because if you look back on your life, if you reflect and you're brutally honest, then you can be like saying, okay, I'm in a good spot now, I'm satisfied, but is that really where I'm supposed to be, or is that where I want to be? Then you can say, okay, I can achieve more, I can go out and kind of push myself more. Or you can take that and say, if you reflect on yourself and be brutally honest with yourself and say, I'm achieving a lot of stuff, but is it contributing to anything for me? Then you can just take a step back and say, okay, no, let me dial it down. Let me figure it out. Like, what do I want to do?
You mentioned about something about the end game or something you want to achieve. For you, man, like, what is your end game? What are you working towards?
Me, I'm honestly working towards um, giving myself and the people who will depend on me in the future a comfortable life. And I don't mean, like, I'm not gonna say like I want to be rich. I mean, everyone wants to be rich, right? Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna be super rich and balling, but I want to be able to at least provide for my family in the future, and to have enough money to provide them with education, food, housing, clothing, but also a little more. So I guess that's where I'm heading. That's kind of like my end goal. If you want to be religious about it, like heaven, of course, like that's my end goal. But
I'd be surprised if your end goal was hell, man.
yeah, yeah,
I
me
mean,
too.
meron bang may gusto nun? Parang wala naman, no?
Wala ata, wala. I
Parang,
mean, you never know, man. You might meet someone and they say that.
oh, maybe,
Magu-
maybe. Si Bessie,
Magugulat
baka.
ka na lang. Si Uy, wag naman. Si Bessie. Heavenly yan, heavenly.
Bessie's still alive, though. Still alive.
Bessie's still alive. She
Still
died,
alive.
Quarantine. She
Ano?
died for a while.
How?
Because we weren't using her. So, like, parang yung battery died. But
Oh, no! Pero okay na
I
siya
was
ngayon.
sad. Yeah. She's running again.
Okay. Mabaho pa rin siya.
Mabaho pa rin, mabaho pa rin.
Amoy pawis pa rin, ganun.
It's my gym car, bro. You have to know that.
Kaya dapat may scented sticks parate. Yung yung...
We have definitely, I think, or we'll just alcohol it na lang. But it's,
Alcohol it. Anong alcohol? You're gonna spray alcohol all over the car?
yeah, why not? Para sanitized pa
Really?
rin. We're in a state of influx right now. We have to.
Kaya we're selling sausages, di ba?
That's why we're selling sausages. Exactly.
Do you know how the sausage is made?
I just know there's a plant somewhere in the north, and they honestly, no, I don't know
No.
how they're made. I don't know how they're made.
So how can you ensure quality service product total quality management tayo dito, Six Sigma.
To the wow, you're learning something, TQM.
Yeah.
I like
TQM,
that.
PR, yeah.
To my future buyers of my sausages, I can assure you they're quality made, freshly made.
How can you assure
yeah.
that if you don't even know how they're made?
Okay, I'm gonna come back to you on this. Let me do a little bit of research. Let me do a bit of research pa. I'm gonna come back to you on this.
Sige. Go to the plant first, then come back to us.
Yeah.
You mentioned a while ago something about you believing in like this grand plan for everyone. Correct me if I'm wrong. You mentioned that, diba? And then being content or not content with like being on the path that you are supposed to be in. So how do you know? How would you know if you are in the right path? Like for you, are you sure you're on the right path now? And if you are sure, like how would you know that?
Um, that's another loaded question by Tristan Delantano. But um, yeah, I think this is so timely because I'm learning philosophy also, and what I've
Mhm.
learned about philosophy is humans always try to figure out the meaning of life, or what they're here for.
Yeah.
From all those years of studying philosophy, we've only come up with one answer, and that is we don't even know. No one knows, right? But I guess like to relate it to what I said a while ago, you always have to come back to yourself and just be really honest, and try to assess, like, okay, is this something that I see myself doing for a long in the long run? Is this a situation that I can see myself doing? If it is, then okay, that's a checkpoint for me. Is it something that you're good at? That's also another checkpoint. Because I mean, if it's something that you're good at and passionate about, then of course, like, I think that leads you, or that's a good sign or indication that you're on the right path.
Mhm.
Unless of course your passion is to do something bad, then
That's fucked
you're
up, man.
definitely on the wrong path. But if your passions lead you to be a good helping citizen, just it's a good passion, then I think you're on the right path. It's hard to really determine if we're all on the right path to whatever your path may be. But I just always believe in in um in that saying that everything happens for a reason. So, but you also have to make stuff happen. Like, you have to take into account, like, the serendipitous events in your life, and kind of assess that and say, like, okay, why did this happen to me? Like, what's it trying to tell me? I'm a firm believer in that. Then, like,
Mhm.
I really love unpacking these random events in my life and trying to figure out, like, what lessons did I learn, and what can I gain out of it? Because if not, like, sayang lang, diba? So it's just an experience to you when it could be more. So I think if you learn to unpack, if you learn to kind of um, see events as nothing, as more than just passing events in your life, then I think it can help you determine better what path you're supposed to be on, and it can help you determine whether you're on the right path or not.
Yeah. So the path for you is for now like working on a big company, hopefully Unilever.
Hopefully, Unilever. Shout
Yeah.
out to shout out to.
What's your I know, what's your like game plan for that? Do you like after ng graduation mo, you plan talaga to like work for a big company and then ano, yun yung long-term plan mo like just get promoted and get a higher and higher position until everything starts falling into place, something like that.
That's a good question, because, like, I definitely want to do my own thing. Like,
Mhm.
I have that entrepreneur kind of mindset in me
Mindset.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I want to have my own
Watches.
business. Yeah,
Watches?
watches, or
Watches?
barbershops.
What happened to the watches? What happened to the watches?
The watches, prototype pa lang, bro. Prototype stage. We're working on it. Watch out.
Baka
I was,
prototype drawing lang yan ha. Drawing lang. Pencil
Proto,
drawing lang.
prototype pa rin yan, ha? Prototype pa rin yan, ha?
Oh yeah, you have that entrepreneurial mindset. Yeah.
I have that entrepreneur, and I really do, like, wanna have my own company. I wanna have my own business. But I think I also, like, I'm very practical, and if I'm able to get a good stable job that pays well, then I won't totally disregard that, or I won't totally take that out of the plan, because especially now in a time where a lot of businesses are going um, out of operation, a lot of people are out of jobs. I feel like, even like when you graduate, I feel like it's going to be really hard to find jobs in the first place. So if I'm able to find a stable job that pays well, then I'll be really thankful for sure. In the long run, I think, looking at that, I'll have to play it by ear. Like, if I want to climb up the ranks, and try to get higher in the organization, I think I'll have to try to see first, like, if I get into the organization or not. But I mean, damn, initially, like, it'd be great to lead a region of, of a big company. Or I have a package outside. Oh, can you get it? Thanks, man. Sorry,
Go lang, it's fine.
we have a lot of stuff coming in and out of the house.
Yeah, you also have a lot of siblings, eh?
Oh yeah, that's another thing. But where was I? Yeah, I'll play that by ear. And if I feel like the organization is definitely an organization that aligns with my values, and I can see myself working for a long run, why not? You know,
Why not? Why not? Why
why
not?
not? Why not?
Why not? Why not nga? 'Di ba? Everything we do now, like what you said, everything we do now is supposed to or ideally should lead us to where we want to be. And you said na okay, everything happens for a reason. You believe in that? Like everything happens for a reason. Ako naman like maybe sometimes things I mean cause and effect, diba? But there are some things na like super out of left field. Like whoa, like for sure did that have to happen? Like for example, like kunyari, um, let's for example like a school shooting. Like
Okay, okay.
what reason? What's the reason for that? To make us realize na we're evil? I don't know. I don't know. But like ayun nga, um are you religious? Like this belief of yours, like is it coming from religion or no?
I definitely have a religious background. I came from, a Catholic all boys school. My my family, my parents are just one of the most religious people that I know, and that's not to say that, like, it's not a bad thing, but like that was my upbringing. And definitely my beliefs and the values that I have at some point or in some way come from that religious kind of view. And I guess me saying that everything happens for a reason, it's me also saying that, God has a plan for everything. And I firmly believe that. Um, if, like, why does, it's always that debate of why does God let bad things happen? Or um yeah, why do bad things happen if God is all good? And definitely that's something that I continue to ask also myself, especially like in dark times, like you said, like maybe a school shooting. But what I always just come back to is, I'll at this point in time, or at that moment, I'll never be fully able to comprehend what he has planned, because it's something that's greater than all of us. And I don't think, like, he meant, and definitely it wasn't his plan to allow, bad stuff to happen. It's just he gave us free will. He gave us that choice to do what we want on this earth, because he loves us. Like, he doesn't want us to just be robots naman, and
Yeah.
just be good all the time, because he could definitely do that, but he loves
Yeah, I
us
mean
enough.
people fuck up, right? People fuck
Yeah,
up a lot.
exactly. We're not perfect beings ourselves, so I don't think that in itself is something stemming from him. Like, the bad stuff never stemmed from him. It already stems from our human nature. It already stems from our humanity. And the only reason that I can comprehend, or that we can understand right now as humans, is God loves us enough to give us that free will to choose whether to do good or bad. But at the end of it all, we've all heard this. Those who are religious, those who are not religious, we've all heard this. At the end of our life, we'll be tried, we'll be judged, and we'll get what's coming to us in the end. So yeah, I am definitely religious, and my beliefs are religious, and that's really a big factor of what I stand for. That's a really big factor of why what I believe in. So
If you die now, would you go to heaven or hell?
ah, that's ah, definitely nah. I don't think I'm gonna go to heaven. Yeah, I don't think. I'm
But
not.
what have you no? What have
I
you
don't
done,
know.
pal? What have
I
you
just
done?
oh
What
I
have you
just
done?
I just don't think I'm you know I don't think I'm a good person to achieve, to, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Why pa? What makes a good person ba?
Is this Are you alluding to something that I oh my god. For the
Huh?
listeners out there, I did a presentation with our barkada that talked about what makes a good person. So I don't know if Thanos alluding to that or not, but I don't know what makes a good person for you, man.
What makes a good person for me?
Yeah, what makes a good person
Sheesh.
for you?
I guess it all boils down to um, intention and action. So those two things, the chemistry of those two things, like your actions can speak one thing, when your intentions can speak another. For example, if you protect a child, but it's for the reason of like uh like abusing the child or something, then that's still unexcusable. But if you protect the child out of your own free will and because you saw the child being hurt or something like that, then that makes you good. But like, where does that stand? For example, 'di ba? Good and bad, from my perspective at least, I think good and bad are somehow, they have a level of subjectivity. Because, for example, some cultures deem it allowable or honorable to kill other people for certain reasons. Kunyari, for religious reasons or for, um, yeah, yun nga, certain reasons. And that you'll go to heaven for that or their version of heaven for that. But on some cultures, that's, if you kill someone, then you're fucked. You're fucked up. So, yeah. What,
It's
what, what, why, what is
uh,
it for you, man?
no, you brought up like really valid points, and I agree there's some stuff that may be good for me, may be good for you, but we might not agree on that. Um, again, I go back to like my religious roots. So for me, a good person is someone who just tries to do right by everyone. So someone who doesn't hurt, someone who doesn't um, just basically someone who isn't trying to hurt anyone else and or do anything in a bad way. And even though they do mess up sometimes, like as long as they're continuously striving to be better than who they were yesterday, then I think you can qualify to be a good person for me. Because I also like the idea of redemption. I think that's such a human ideal to kind of accept or to kind of relate to, that we're all out here. We can be saved. We can have some sort of redo or whatever. So I do firmly believe that if someone is actively trying to be a better person or a better version of themselves, then I don't think that makes you a bad person, even though you've done bad things in the past. But you're definitely sorry for them. You're definitely I can see that you're repentant. I can see that um, you feel sorry for having done those bad things, and you're on a better path now. I think I can say that you're a good person.
Yeah, 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 man. Totally resonate with that.
Yeah.
If you're inching towards being a better person,
Yeah.
like that makes you a good person. But sige, actually something quite relevant now. For example, cancel culture, right? It's
Okay.
quite prevalent now.
Yeah.
So what happens is like people's mistakes or their comments, their posts on social media from 3, 5, 10 years ago
Can be
get
brought up.
exposed and brought up,
Yeah.
racist, sexist comments here and there. What do you think of? Do you think that people deserve to be, for example, kunyari, someone's sexist remarks gets brought up from years ago? Do you think that deserves for that person to be, for example, like canceled and everything, and like um exposed like that?
Mm-hmm. Um, are you gonna get me canceled out of here also?
Yeah, that's the goal.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
Ah,
I do believe that we have to be taken accountable for certain things. And if correct me if I'm wrong, but like the cancel culture, it's mostly, or it's aimed at, like celebrities or just these big personalities in society, right? But I
Yeah.
guess I've also seen cancel culture in amongst, just the more public sector as well. But for me, my stance there is, if you're in the limelight, like if you're a person of status, if you're someone who has weight in society, then I think to some degree you're held accountable for your actions and what you say. So you really have to be careful. But that being said, I don't think it's fair that netizens, that people can just blast them all out online. If this person, let's say 5 years ago, he said a certain thing, right? But what he said, um, what he said that time, and what the person that he is now, or like if he's completely, changed already, if he's not even related to that, if not saying anything related to that anymore, I think it's not fair for us to judge or to say that, hey, he's still the same person, or hey, um, let's cancel him. But if he said that 5 years ago and he's still the same person, and he's still that person who still believes in those things, then I definitely think it's some way we should hold them accountable. But how people are doing it, it's kind of crazy. Like I've seen the comments, and like I can't help but feel bad for the person, because it's, their life is on blast, full blast,
Mm.
since they're in the limelight and everything. And I definitely have seen cancel culture where it's it's detrimental already to the other person, because they're definitely not the same person, as that person that the people are trying to cancel. So there's definitely a line to be drawn there. And I think I posted it, like I don't really believe in cancel culture too much, because it's just another toxic way to kind of bash on people. Then again, like if it's something widespread already, if it's something that, um like let's say like the raping of or the sexual kind of, is that sexual harassment of all these, of Harvey Weinstein, that
Mm-hmm.
case, right? I definitely think that cancel culture was a good work there, because it helped
In
get
the Me Too
him.
movement. That's a
Yeah,
good movement.
exactly. It kind of helped move things along, because like they weren't getting any justice from that. and
I
and
agree.
these women who came out and spoke out against him really helped move that forward. And exactly right now, like people are getting what they deserve. Like Harvey Weinstein, I think he's, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's gonna get jailed, or he, what's that?
Yeah, I don't know also.
I
I
also don't
think
know.
so. I think I
Yeah,
know he's
yeah,
not
yeah,
making movies anymore though. Yeah, I
yeah,
know
yeah, yeah,
that
for sure.
for sure.
So to that point, I think it can be used in a good way. But recently, what I've seen, people use it also. They also take advantage of it to a point where it's just like go out with the other person already, because they're, you know it's not who they are anymore.
But
Um,
where do you draw the line? Like
yeah,
okay, understood. If it's 5 years ago, the person could
yeah,
have changed. But if
yeah.
it's one day ago, like
One
no
day ago.
excuse, right?
Okay.
No excuse.
Yeah.
So
I
where is the line? Like, is there a definite line? Like, kunyari, 1 month ago, are you a
uh-huh.
different person from a month ago to now, or a year ago,
Yeah.
or 2 months ago, 3 months ago? What's the difference? So
I
where do
mean,
you draw the line?
I think are we talking about like a celebrity, or like just anyone in general?
Just anyone in general.
Mm. I mean, like, okay, let's say you tweeted something very controversial yesterday,
Mm.
and then if people call you out on it, on like on Twitter, or like on your socials, and then you reply saying like, I don't give a shit. Like, "Tara na, that's what I said. That's what I believe in. Don't like, why are you guys fucking with me," or something like that. Then I think, you're being a complete ass, and you definitely should be canceled. But it was one day ago, and people call you out and say, what you said wasn't right. Like, you have a totally wrong view of it. And then you come out and say like, I'm sorry for what I said. If it hurt anyone, I definitely did not mean to, that on those lines, and you're genuine about it, then you know I think then you shouldn't be canceled. Like, that's when the line should be drawn. Like, okay, he's sorry, at least online. if you do it again, then then you're a dick. But I mean, if that leads you to become a more careful person, or that leads to become a more aware person, I think to that point it's good. But again, as I said, I've just seen people bashing on people for no apparent reason, and without giving them that chance to kind of redeem themselves or to kind of change. So um, constructive criticism, I think, is just the best way to put it. And especially, I think if you know the person personally, you don't have to bash him online in such a public way. Like you can hit him up on a PM or a DM, private message him, just say, "Hey man, like, can we just talk about what you just said?" And then that opens up a whole dialogue between you and the person, and that way you both can learn. Because like you can learn where he's coming from, then he can learn where you're coming from, and in effect, you won't be affecting his world because you're not blasting it out to everyone that follows him or that follows you.
Yeah.
It's a more personal way, and I think that's a better way to kind of address that if you know the person. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I think so for you it depends on the response of the person. If the person responds
yeah,
like receptively, like, yeah, okay, I admit
yeah,
I did this, I learned, then it's fine. Pero kunyari, the person responds like in a hostile manner, like, no,
yeah,
no, fuck no, man. This is
yeah,
me,
yeah,
this
yeah,
is my points. Like, okay,
yeah.
okay. Um, pero to that end, like, when is it necessary to like, okay, let's take this to the public? Because you said like, if you know the person, just talk to him or her. Um, Kasi for me, kunyari, ako, I feel like it's necessary to take it to the public, kunyari. Something like, yun nga, Harvey Weinstein. Like, repeated, person of power, and nothing has been done to him or her. So like, okay, let's bring it to the public courts. Let's make the public aware of this shit, ganon.
I like 100% agree. I think you put it in a good way. Like if it's prevalent, if it's already affected a lot of people, and there's definitely no remorse on the part of the person who committed the act, then and especially if the person's in power, then of course, like social media is such a powerful tool, and if the people in power, if they're not able to do anything about it, I think social media is such a good way to kind of get things to move positively, hopefully. But yeah, social media is such a powerful tool, and people forget that. That's why
Positive
we.
and social media
Oh,
in
sorry,
one word.
powerful
Okay.
tool. I said
Pero
power. My
grabe,
bad.
positive and social media, I think, whew, that's an ideal society. Utopia na yata
That yeah,
yan.
yeah. They're definitely powerful tool, not positive.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Sorry.
I
It's a
agree.
powerful tool, and I feel like people sometimes forget that what they say online has so much weight. Um, yeah, has so much weight. So I guess to answer your question, if no remorse, it's repetitive already, and it's already hit a lot of people, then I think that's a good time to put it on the socials. You know, but if there's still a chance for that person to kind of change, if there's still a chance for that person to say sorry, then I don't think it's necessary for us to blast it all over social media.
Yeah, yeah. All right, man. All right. So like before we end, we've rambled on now here for like more or less like an hour. When I don't know, maybe. Um, I just want to ask you, like, in your trajectory, in your trekking and progression through life so far. I know you're 23 years old. That's a lot for some people. That's not even a grain of sand for some people. That's like, on average, I think that's like only a fourth of average lifespan in Earth. Like, we're only a fourth of the way through. So far, what's the most important lesson you've learned? Or what for you is like one thing you think everyone else should know about life, about living life in general?
I think, um, and this really has resonated with me for a while now. I think it's just being happy with yourself, happy with who you are, because uh, you can't look externally for validation because that validation will never be fully up or will never keep you happy for a long time. because people's perceptions can change, people's views of you will always change. But the one thing that probably won't change, or the one thing that you can control, my yeah, is how you see yourself and how you accept yourself. And I think that's a lesson that um, through my 23 years, I think it has really resonated with me, and I'm still striving to learn up until this point. But it's a very important and powerful lesson for everyone to learn. And I think I just want to also say, like, loving yourself and knowing, you know, and accepting yourself for who you are also is in line with treating yourself right. So eating healthy once in a while, you know, you don't feed your body the wrong stuff all the time, because that's bad for you. It will kill you faster. Um, have a good lifestyle. You know, try to sleep early. Try to get at least 8 hours of sleep if you can. I know that a lot of students out there, they you know, and I applaud them for hustling every night, for studying so hard. You guys deserve, you know, the grades that you're getting, but never forget that, you know, we're also human and you guys need your rest. So my fellow students, please, if you can, get your 8 hours of sleep as much as you can, because we need that. And we're growing people, guys. We still have a lot to go on.
I hope.
I
I
mean,
hope. I hope.
sorry. Our host pala is he's growing in
Is
heart
what?
right now.
Is what? Is what?
Growing in heart.
In heart.
That's how you're doing it, in heart. Growing in heart. That's how you're doing this. That's what I do.
Sure, man.
Yeah.
Sure, man.
Yeah. So be good to yourselves and to those around you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Pao. Thanks,
Thanks for
Pao, for
having me.
those words. Thanks for taking the time today, like giving a conversation and all that. I know
No
you still have
problem.
like thesis and Unilever stuff and BMS stuff. Joke lang. 1 year ago.
Oh,
I have that. I have that.
You
I
have that. You have
I have
that.
that.
Definitely. Okay.
Pero yun. Thanks, man. Thanks for joining, and like hope to see you soon and like talk to you soon
See you
also.
soon, man.